this just for a second. Let's talk about getting this lick together. So this is definitely one of the licks from the Sweet 16. It's the simple idea of the C6 lick. Now, I decided to do one video on one of the licks just to show you how versatile this one lick is, and actually how easy it is to fit under the hand. If you visualize this, you have a C scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and all it is the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 6th note. And it goes to the octave. So what I like to do, if you're getting used to sliding off of that minor third of C, which is E flat to E, and use finger 2 to 2, it's a triplet 1 and 2 and then 3, or the PDF is actually a pickup 2 and 3 and 4. Let me make sure that's right on this chart. Okay, so it's actually on the and 1 and 2 and then 3, because we actually have another lick that's in the chorus that is also in the Sweet 16 that's a longer lick. It's 3 and 4, then minor third, the Corella part, and then it ends with a nice little enclosure there. But this one is 1 and 2 and then 3 and, which is another nice thing about you can do so many different rhythms with this one idea. And I want you to get this under your fingers. And I'm going to teach you with this one lick different ways you can play this in order to play it in all keys, but also I'm going to teach you how to use different rhythms within this one lick. So let's go ahead and check the chat. If anybody is around and you just want to say hello in the chat, make sure you like this video. You can comment and let me know. I did put a link to the Google folder, and it may ask you, like, it may need you to send, it may send me a thing that says so-and-so wants to get the PDF, but it's the PDF and the backing track. So just click on it and then it'll let me know, hey, you want to access this, and I should just be able to say, okay, you can do it. You can get the PDF. But here it is. And you don't have to download it if you don't want to, but at least want you to give you that option. I'm calling this the practice squad as we get ready to put these licks head to head to see who gets in the Elite 8. Isn't that nice the way it's written out? Everything that I do has the fingering written out, or almost everything. 1 and 2 and then 3 and notice that my hand is it kind of goes over the shape of the octave. 1 and 2 and then 3 and. Now I'm going to show you some secret sauce things that you need to know. If I do this, I did the 6th, the 5th, kind of as a little filler. So that's one option. You can do 6, 5 of the scale, and I do 4, 3. Now that's one option. Another thing you could do is, and you could go to the B flat, right? You could go. And I did up the octave. Here's another nice thing you can do is you could play the lick and play any of your blues scale notes, and it's going to work. That time, instead of octave, I did so sometimes I want to hear that minor third of C, and sometimes I want to hear the major third, and maybe sometimes I want both. All right, let me check the chat again. I'm in the middle of filming this course or recording this course, and so it's nice to take a little break to go onto YouTube. And I do want to say thanks to Johnny for signing up for the course, and somebody else did as well. They pre-ordered the course. Let me think who did that. Anyway, very thankful for that, and people are starting to sign up for that, which I really like. I'm getting excited to get this down to the Elite 8. So let me just check a couple of things and make sure we're good. Okay, now I'm going to turn on the backing track again in just a minute, but I want to show you guys a really important tip. How do you get this in all keys? Well, the one thing that you have to know is you have your slide from the black key to the white key. But also, if you go to D flat, you can't slide onto that third, so you have to hammer on. So what I do is I get up into the keys. Now watch this very closely. Hammer on to from the minor to the major third, and then I go 4 on the 5th. The 6th is my pinky, and then I open up my hand to get the octave. And you want it to sound as close as it does when you do the slide, like. So you just practice that. Now, D major is also a hammer-on. So you open up your hand to get that. E flat's a slide. E major is a hammer-on. F is a slide. F sharp is a hammer-on. So with those two fingerings, you can play this idea in all keys. All right, so let's go back to the key of C, because we want to get this thing in the key of C. And just so you know, once you get this slide down, once you go to F, it's the exact same movement, just starting on F. And same thing on G. All right, so let's talk once again about all the different kinds of variations you can do. I could come down and go to the flat 7. I could go 6, 5. I really like that one. And I could go major third. And sometimes what I do is I'll go minor third to major third and kind of slide up there, even with the octave. Or I could go. Right? And all I'm doing there is just playing blues scale notes. Sometimes you just want that sound, and you have the octave, so it's a good thing to practice that as well. Another thing I might want to do is maybe I don't want to go all the way up to the octave. Maybe I want to do this. Right? I went up to the 6th note, and then I went to that flat 7. It's a nice thing to do. Or so you have so many different options. All right, let's do a recap, and then we'll call it a day for this one exercise or this one video. 2 and 3. Major third. Minor third. What I love about the minor third to major third is with all of those licks, you can go, when you go to F, you can play the same idea, minor third to major third, same thing on G. So remember that. Also remember that sometimes you want to go up to that octave, and sometimes you want to hit that flat 7. I always tell everybody, if you're not feeling bluesy or jazzy, go to that flat 7. So why not use the octave? We've been doing different etudes. Some of them are pentatonic etudes, and some of them are blues scale. So the difference is with that pentatonic, I've been doing these little riffs here for you guys and creating these etudes. Pentatonic is a nice sound, so sometimes I want to have, instead of this, with that F sharp, which I think is really important, sometimes I want this sound. What's up, Jeffrey? The most consistent man at iMusicAcademy online whenever I go public. What's up, Jeffrey? Good to see you. Thank you for always hanging out. All right, so watch this. Sometimes I want to do this. And I hear this. Bum, 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 bum. That's the pentatonic. Or whenever you want that blues sound, you know that you can go. That's a nice thing whenever you hit that minor third, because if I go to the F chord, I'm already on the flat 7. That's why I can hang out there. Or now watch the F chord. All right, very good. All right, so notice that how nice and how easy is that? You get that one idea, and then when it's time to transpose and you're practicing, you're on the practice squad, you're going to do that. F, G, E flat, A flat, A, B flat, right? It's 2 fingers get you through all 12 keys, and that's just a little fun fact. For anybody who's just now joining us, I did put the link in there for Google, and it may ask you when you try to click on it for you to get the backing track and the folder. It may say, hey, this person wants permission. I'm not sure if it's actually restricted right now, but it should be as simple as me saying, yeah, they can download it, and then you're on your way. But it's just this idea. Like, I love this. I think I first heard this one lick when I was listening to Red Garland. And just remember that you can do this. I can go halfway up, or I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this. And I can even do this. So nice to be able just to play this kind of lick and just do whatever you want with it. You can do the first 4 notes of the pentatonic scale or go up to that blues scale. But the main thing is you get this going first. Now let's give another practical thing. I'm only going to go for like 3 or 4 more minutes. But let's say I want to get a lot done, I don't have a lot of time, or maybe I'm on the beginner level side of things and I want to push it a little bit and maybe try to play it in another key. Well, you can play it in C if you have that fingering down and that motion on the hand. Then you go to F. It's the same exact thing. You go to G, you're good to go. Now, the next thing you want to do is say, I'm going to go with Bob's up-down approach. Your up-down is play something familiar and comfortable to you. And then you go up a half step. Now, D flat, watch this. I'm going to have to hammer on. I could go. Or the other thing we said we could go 6-5. Or just get this down. Go back to C if you feel uncomfortable. What about go down to B? once you do that, once you start playing something something that you're really familiar with, and then you push yourself and start playing in a different key, it starts to feel really good. Like even if you took another example from our Sweet 16 examples, would be this. And you know it really well because you've been hanging out with me for a while. You're going to go up to D flat, and you have to hammer on to that D flat, and then you'll go down to B and learn how to do that there. Go back to your home, come for key. Pentatonic. So that's pretty much it. Jeffrey, thanks for hanging out, man. It's always good to see you. And I hope that everybody enjoys that little idea of this really important lick. I have 4 blues volumes at iMusicAcademy, 4, plus a blues alternate bassline course. And I went through all 4 volumes and I found my 16 favorite, what I call maybe even most useful. They're everything from beginner type licks to a few really awesomely, not too hard to play, but very, very nice and full licks. And then I said, here are my favorites out of 4 different volumes, so 40 plus licks, and here are my favorites. So awesome. Chuck Berry's Sweet Little 16. Yeah, awesome. And then of course I'm always doing tips on how to use the blues scale as you're also using all these licks. So there's some fun things there. All right, Jeffrey, good to see you, man. Always appreciate you hanging out as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Go practice now. And thanks for everybody who